Everything looks so much nicer. And remember how I said I died in Live and Reloaded quite early? Yep, it's in this one. Stupidest death ever. The regular Live and Reloaded staple, plenty of clang goblins. I finally figured out the name and remembered it this time. Anyway, a lot of clang goblins in here for no real reason, just to add some cheap damage if you're just not paying attention. And I can't imagine why you wouldn't just pay attention. You just be like walking around and run into an enemy like, oh, I thought this was the old Bad Fur Day. There aren't enemies in here.
Hey, excuse me. Hello?
Game's already hard enough. No, this game's really fucking easy. Now, plenty of changes done to the bull. He looks a lot more deadly. He has a tramp stamp, or a brand, on his left shoulder, and added a nose ring. He looks a lot cooler in this. But, with looking cooler, they changed his handling. He is now a lot more difficult to handle in this quote-unquote boss battle. So, just warning you now, if you thought it was exactly the same as Bad Fur Day, you are sadly mistaken. Same rules apply for here. If you get hit with a poo ball, you go all the way to the bottom. It's very, very annoying. And very hard to see because you're allowed to move the camera, obviously, in Live and Reloaded, but it seems a bit too close here, as opposed to Bad Fur Day, which zoomed out and let you see everything. Also here, they made the liquid actually look like liquid. It's not just a recolor of the blood or the poo and anything. They all have their own textures. Gotta get the screaming squits. I think that's just a British term. I've never heard anyone in America say that.
Yes, I think I get it.
And you know what? That looks really tasty. I think I want some. Bullshit. What a load of bullshit. Oh, no pun intended. Yes, I died in the prune juice. Of all the ways to die. And just something that's stupid. Like, I think, don't quote me on this, had I landed in the water, I would not have died. That's how stupid I find this death. I mean, it's hilarious, don't get me wrong, I was not expecting that. But it's just the stupidest death I've ever had in any game. Unless you count the old Super Nintendo Lemmings where I manually blew up 100 lemming lives. We're just pissing off PETA in this episode. Now, if anything got the biggest change, Hell did. Yeah, I said that Hell was boring in Bad Fur Day, but this one looks awesome. Easter eggs everywhere. And I'll definitely be showing those off. And everything looks a lot better. It's a nice looking Hell. I'd go here if I were meant to go here. Being Christian, I just spouted a mouthful of blasphemy. So be it. I am playing one of the raunchiest games ever that involve little cute woodland creatures. How much would you get paid if you were the Grim Reaper? I always wondered that. Like, do you get paid in skulls? Do you get paid in souls? Do you get unemployment? Like, if you die as the Grim Reaper, then who reaps you? Not really an interesting thing to think about. But if you consider the fact that we've already seen this scene just a lot less prettier, you gotta think of a bunch of different things. Also, I mentioned last video about the squirrel tails, of how they only save in this game. If you are playing Live and Reloaded, keep that in mind. This game, because it has a regular save feature, and if I hadn't mentioned this before, Bad Fur Day saves every time a new cutscene shows up. Or when you go into a new area, it auto-saves. So, after a cutscene, it's okay to turn off the game. In Live and Reloaded, I believe the same applies, but it also applies to every loading screen. So, you got plenty to do. Okay, Easter eggs time. Hell, sweet hell. Love it. So very funny. And all over the place you'll see a bunch of squirrel skulls. And I believe those are some of the developers. And nothing really happens if you try to kill yourself in hell. Got some hellception going on here. Oh no! We've died so many times, even though this is our first death. The date's on there, 1998 to 2000, I don't know. That actually is the time that Bad Fur Day was started being developed. It was in 98. Or 96, I couldn't really read that tombstone. In 98, Bad Fur Day started development, when it was still a cutesy kid game. And he's fucking dead! So are all of these guys! Started development in 98, was finished in 2001, but in 2000, they completely rewrote everything. People were claiming, oh, Rare's just, there's a bunch of kiddie games. There ain't no adult stuff in here. Well, they proved them wrong. Everyone thought it was a joke.
A cow. Now that could be useful.
Well, we went to hell. Time to beat the bowl boss again.
He's a bit of a wild one. That time again, is it?
And I did make a mistake. In the second video, actually. I considered the wasps. Wayne and the Wankers is their official name. I called them a boss. I was wrong. Those are just regular enemies, I guess. I mean, I thought it was a boss. It had the boss music. It had all the makings of a boss. See, here's what I mean about the controls changing. He is a lot more rowdy this time, a lot more difficult to control. He's also a lot bigger. So, if you have trouble with controlling, I don't blame you. It is kind of hard to control. I think it also has to do with his animation, how in Bad Fur Day he had like one step that was easy to control, and now he's got like two gallops that means he goes in one direction twice. So basically you're having to compensate for more movement. And look at me trying to talk about game design, and look, she's drinking nothing! And they make everything look better, including shit. But they couldn't make a cow drink. Lead a cow to prune juice, but you can't make her drink, apparently. Even though it still happens in a cutscene. Something else that has changed in this boss fight. It no longer goes by the regular Nintendo 1, 2, 3. It now goes 1, 1, 1. One hit per cow, another one to finish them off. Making it a lot easier. So, again, game is neutered. It's not even more gory, which surprised me. And cow number 2, you're dead! Screw that cow, man. Now here's what I mean by the weird controls. He's just going everywhere, and this is actually really hard to control. If you play it yourself, you will definitely know what I'm talking about. But he just thrashes around everywhere. Little tankish controls, and here goes number 3! Even though I shouldn't have gotten that, it shouldn't have counted, but it does. Now, apparently, this is supposed to be a reference to Austin Powers? A reference to Fat Bastard? I guess, because he calls himself a fat bastard, but... well, I guess. I'm not going to add it to the official list, but, you know, down the poop chute. And it's sad to say, I thought I was going to be able to go through Live and Reloaded without dying. But nope. Squirrel Tail still applies. And I tried to dive into the middle. I I am so smart. Same rules apply here, except Life and Reloaded does something really weird. They don't explain how to swim. So I guess they assume you know how to do it. It is a lot easier if you just press the right thumbstick a little bit. You'll dive straight down. Haha, you suck. You're still breathing. Animal cruelty is not cool. But another difference about swimming, even though it's a lot easier because of the dual analog setup, you also get a third more of breath. If that makes sense, you can hold your breath a lot longer than you can in Bad Fur Day, which is bullshit when it gets to the other swimming section, how much harder it is in Bad Fur Day than Live and Reloaded. But we can let it slide. This is still a good game, even though the hardcore fans will have a problem with it. Loading screen! By the way, we've passed about 12 loading screens from all this playing. I've tried to cut down on them. I've tried to cut them all out. I just leave in a couple, just to remind you how many there actually are.
You're welcome to it, mate. Yeah, thanks.
Alright. Next time on Conker's Bad Fur Day, we are going to be heading to the right, because there is a scene later, and I will be sure to definitely show it. If you do not go to the right first, you miss out on a section later, and you have to go back. So it's just easier to go to the right first, the right path here, than it is to go up Pooh Mountain. So I'm going to be hitting that first, but to get all the cutscenes, I will be showing off the cutscene you get if you do take the left path first. Haha, no poo balls. Screw the rules, we got a giant ball of poo. Next time on Bad Fur Day, we're going to the right, screwing the rules with poo. See you next time.